how you see the future of peace in Middle East.
Israel has become a rogue state which is going around flaunting its military power and doing whatever it wishes to do anywhere without any regard of international law. They have torpedoed the peace talks between with Hamas that was being held in Qatar, in Doha. The future is, I think, at the moment, very bleak. Unless Israel is controlled and is restrained by the international community, the only reason why Israel is doing this is the determination or obsession. I will call it obsession of Netanyahu to remain in power and to somehow keep the war going on.
Do you think UN Security Council's any possible resolution or even speeches or its voice may create some buzz or some influence or some pressure, or it is useless now?
The Americans would not like Israel to be condemned, and they would not support ceasefire as called for by the international community.
And if there is any expected resolution that is expected to be vetoed,
the resolution can only be made effective if it is not vetoed.
What could be the motive and objective of Israeli escalation in Gaza, where it has already ordered the population of Gaza to immediately move out?
Hamas will not be eliminated. Israel will continue to chase this mirage, and Netanyahu continue to fight. And as a result, he will keep his position also.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Inside in V News English. Dear viewers, the Israeli attack on Doha is an alarming escalation of Israeli war in the Middle East. In other words, this Israeli war has formally been extended into the Middle East. In June, Israel attacked Iran, and now one of the most safest places, Doha, has been targeted. Purpose was to eliminate top Hamas leadership, which was busy in negotiation and which was discussing the United States President Trump's proposal for peace. So this particular strike by Israeli authorities, by Israeli military, has proven and established one fact, that Israel doesn't want peace. Israel wanted to eliminate Hamas top leadership, but the important leadership, which was basically the target of this strike, survived. Now, on the other hand, Qatar has strongly condemned this particular attack by Israeli authorities, Israeli military authorities on Doha. And Qatar is currently engaged in hectic diplomacy to immediately call the session of the UN Security Council. It's also getting support from Arab League, from Arab leaders, so that a coalition could be formed and Israel could be diplomatically isolated. In today's conversation, we will discuss, after this particular strike on negotiation team in Doha, what is the future of peace talks between Israel and between Hamas, although temporarily these talks have been suspended. And then we will also discuss related issues. We are fortunate to have with us one of the most former seasoned diplomat, currently Executive Director for Center for International Strategic Studies, Ambassador retired Sarwar Naqvi Sahab. Ambassador Sarwar Naqvi Sahab, very warm welcome to program Inside in V News.
Thank you so much. Very
Ambassador
good to be here.
Sarwar Naqvi Sahab, as I said right in the beginning, that this is an extraordinary escalation of Israeli war in the Middle East. And finally, one of the most safest place in the entire Middle East has been targeted, not only jeopardizing the future peace, but also jeopardizing Qatar's security. The Qatar, which is a country which has one of the biggest American military base as well, and the place which was attacked by Israeli airstrike is quite close to this particular place. So first, how would you like to comment and analyze this particular attack by Israeli military authorities, by Israeli Air Force, uh, whichever organ of the Israeli defense has carried out this, but this has put the entire region in danger. How you see the future of peace in Middle East?
Well, in the first place, Mateen Saab, I will talk about the action by Israel, which is the action of a rogue state. Israel has become a rogue state because it is attacking without provocation,
Yes, exactly.
unprovoked attacks. First, it did that on Iran, and the attack on the Iranian territory and killing of targeted
Ismail Hania.
individuals of the military leadership and the scientists, and now they have done it again, targeted elimination of Hamas leaders, be they be second tier or third tier, that's not important. The important thing is that Israel has become a rogue state which is going around flaunting its military power and doing whatever it wishes to do anywhere without any regard of international law, without any regard of the territorial sovereignty of each state. Now, attacking a state like Qatar is absolute madness because Qatar is a very mature state with a very proper and developed foreign policy, and they have been playing a conciliatory role. They have been playing the role of mediation in many issues, including that of Afghanistan. You will recall that the Doha talks led to the establishment of the Taliban regime
Exactly.
in Afghanistan. So, I mean, Doha is the center of negotiations, of
Exactly.
conciliation, of efforts towards peace,
Exactly.
not target of rogue states like Israel. Now, Israel is doing this to torpedo the talks. Now, even in the case of Iran,
This
the
is
other
very right term
parallel
to
is
torpedo
that
the thoughts. This is the
they
right
right
term, exactly.
and even in the case of Iran, they torpedoed the ongoing negotiations between the US and Iran on Iran's nuclear program. And now they have torpedoed the peace talks between with Hamas that was being held in Qatar, in Doha. So not only does it carry out unprovoked attacks and targeted attacks, it is also carrying out attacks to torpedo the ongoing peace negotiations
Hmm.
that are going on. Now,
Ambassador, please
what is the
continue.
future?
Yes, what is the
Yeah,
future?
the future. The future is, I think, at the moment, very bleak. Unless Israel is controlled and is restrained by the international community, there will be no opportunity for peace. There will always be this rogue actions, wild actions by Israel in any region or territory, particularly the Middle East. So, Israel has carried out attacks in Syria. It has carried out attacks in Iraq.
Lebanon,
It
Syria,
has now
Yemen.
carried out attacks in Yemen, and now it has attacked Doha. So the list is long, and it has been responsible for totally unprovoked strikes, military strikes against various countries. So the future is bleak, but the international community, even at this stage, has to step in. And President Trump has said that he is unhappy. So if he is unhappy with the Israeli action, then he should do something about it. He should contact the Israelis and tell them that they should stop behaving in this fashion. Now, even if they stop behaving, their other actions in Gaza is continuing with the total detriment of the people of that territory, and the Palestinian people are suffering as badly as they have been suffering for the last 2 years or so. So this is a kind of intolerable situation. One day, everyone will stand up against Israel. Its own people have come up against it. So the only reason why Israel is doing this is the determination or obsession. I will call it obsession of Netanyahu to remain in power and to somehow keep the war going on, because it is Netanyahu doesn't believe in peace negotiations. It wants the war to go on and on and on, and he will himself remain in power as the prime minister of Israel. This is the scenario, unfortunately.
Ambassador Naqvi Saab, the United States' role is very, very important and very crucial. Although the US officials admitted that Israel provided information and it was confirmed by Israeli authorities, number of international news outlets have confirmed that Israeli officials have confirmed that United States of America was taken into confidence. But question arises, Qatar has one of the biggest American military base, number one, and number two, Qatar is a strong supporter and a strong military ally of United States of America in the Middle East by having one of the biggest military base. So how you see this particular attack in the context of these things? If Americans were informed by the Israelis, so why America didn't inform Qatar? So they have more stronger strategic ties, strategic relationship. And then the second point and second question arises: where was Qatari's own air defense system that it was unable to detect the Israeli war jets?
Yes, actually, the Americans were in league. They are part of that mindset that Netanyahu has, or at least they condone what he is doing. Which is very unfortunate, because the Americans, particularly President Trump, has said repeatedly on many occasions that he is not for war, he is for peace. But then he continues to support Netanyahu,
by
which
providing
is, I
him
think,
money
a
and
contradiction.
weapons and ammunition and
Yes,
everything.
it is everything. And by diplomatic support, they are vetoing the resolutions in the United Nations. There is again a meeting of the United Nations that is going to take place tomorrow. And the Americans will play a key role in that. If they veto it, if they veto a resolution for a ceasefire, then the war will continue as it is. Now, as far as Qatar is concerned, you are right. I mean, they have all the equipment and the aircraft and the military might that they have accumulated over the years. It is, Mateen Sahab, it is not just the equipment that you should have, the armament that you have. It is the people behind those use of those armaments.
Exactly.
The Qataris could easily have hit back at Israel. When Israel carried out an unprovoked attack on Qatar, what stopped the Qataris from using their F-35s and their many drones and other hardware against the Israelis? It is next door. They should have
These
attacked
hardware they have
Israel.
already purchased from United States. Exactly.
Yeah. So they should have attacked Israel. And Israel would not dare again do something like this to Qatar. But they did not do it. They are merely one statement issued by the Foreign Office and the Foreign Minister
That they
that this
strongly
was a
condemn this
violation.
strike. Hmm.
Yes. And that is all
Unbelievable.
one declaration, one rhetoric. Now, this is not the way you protect your integrity, my friend. This is what we did in the case of the India-Pakistan clash, was that our Air Force came into action and it brought down the Indian jets. And this is corroborated by President Trump himself. So, this is the way you protect your integrity, your territorial integrity, and your sovereignty. It is not by issuing declarations, unfortunately,
Very true.
because Qatar has done nothing to help solve the problem. It has only made a very feeble attempt by giving a declaration.
Ambassador Elisabeth Naqvi Saab, at this time, as you talked about Qatari role, that Qatar has all the defense equipments, hardware, drones, fighter jets, latest defense system. But on the diplomatic front, of course, Qatari Foreign Ministry statement also said that Qatar reserved the right to retaliate. Whether Qatar retaliate or not, but on diplomatic front, Qatar is seeking an urgent meeting of the United Nations Security Council. It's also seeking a meeting of the Arab League and trying to get support from Arab leaders so that Israel could be isolated. Two aspects. Number one, if UN Security Council meets, do you think UN Security Council's any possible resolution or even speeches or its voice may create some buzz or some influence or some pressure, or it is useless now?
Yes, I think the UN Security Council, as I said, it largely depends upon what the US wants to do.
Exactly.
If the US sits there and raises its hand for negative vote and gives a veto, then unfortunately no resolution can be adopted. Mm-hmm. Now, at least the United States should abstain, because if it abstains, then the resolution will pass.
Hmm.
Yeah, in the Security Council meeting. Yeah. There is a provision for abstention. That is not a veto. And then that resolution can pass. Because I think the Security Council will condemn the Israeli attack and will call for ceasefire, immediate ceasefire. Now, the Americans would not like Israel to be condemned, and they would not support ceasefire as called for by the international community.
And if there is any expected resolution that is expected to be vetoed.
Yes. So the resolution can only be made effective if it is not vetoed. Number one. Number two, even if a resolution is passed, I think the Israelis will not be stopped by that resolution. They have been condemned by the ICJ. Their actions have been declared illegal in Gaza, and they have been opposed by the committee of that scholars and experts on genocide, who have said that Israel is carrying out genocide in Gaza. And so many other international forums. The Secretary General of the United Nations has many times said that the Israelis are committing genocide in Gaza. So the Israeli reaction to any Security Council resolution can also be totally indifferent and will not lead to any restraint on the part of Israel.
President Elisabeth Naqvi Saab, Saudi Arabia also expressed strong solidarity with Qatar. Then we have seen Turkey has also support with the Qatar. And then there have been statements by Emirati leadership. There have been statements from several other leaders. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also made a telephone call to Amir of Qatar and extend support and strongly condemn. But from the Arab context, the question is, do you think that at some stage in the days to come, this particular attack on Doha can unite the Arab community under the leadership of Qatar, or even without leadership of Qatar, against Israel? Do you think this is an alarming escalation that can create another Muslim bloc or Arab bloc against Israel. Is this possible?
Yes, I think that would be a very good thing, and it is possible that the conscience of the Arab countries has been awakened by this
Mm.
action, and also because of the fear that if Israel is not stopped, then this can result in Israeli attacks on UAE or on Israel, on Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Oman or any country in the region. So this should galvanize the Arab nations to stand up. And
Mm.
UAE has already taken a step. It has
Mm.
warned Israel that if it crosses the red line, then it would be the UAE will attack Israel. Now they have already taken that action. So other Arab countries should also do it. But the unfortunate thing is that the past record is very poor, and they
Mm.
have not been able to stand up to Israel. And
This is very important.
unless they do that, no change will come, and Israel will become more and more daring in its actions and in its policies.
Basically, Naqvi Sahib, this particular incident, Israeli airstrike on Doha, it has already jeopardized the peace process. Escalation has formally been extended to the Middle East, and as we discussed and mentioned, that one of the most safest places for diplomacy, for peaceful negotiation, as you mentioned, historic Afghan peace accord was also signed over there. So, what do you think after this particular airstrike by Israel on direct strike on the peace negotiators? What actually Israel want? It definitely one thing is established and clear that it is no more serious in peaceful negotiation of this Gaza conflict. Then ultimately, what could be the motive and objective of Israeli escalation in Gaza, where it has already ordered the population of Gaza to immediately move out so that it could occupy. So, what could be the ultimate objective?
Well, Israel maintains that it is trying to eliminate Hamas,
Hmm.
but it cannot eliminate Hamas. Hamas has the support of the Palestinian people. It is a movement. It is not one organization. It is a movement which has the trust and the support of the people of Palestine, because they are not only in warfare, they are also involved in social work, in setting up schools, in setting up hospitals,
Well
in
said,
distributing
exactly.
food. Yes. So that is the other aspect of Hamas. Hamas is not fighting just wars, it is also doing a lot of good work for the people that it is serving. So Israel wants to eliminate Hamas. That, I think, is not an impossible job, an impossible objective. It is, as they say, that it is chasing a mirage which will not ever, it'll never be able to catch. And because it is hell bent on destroying Hamas, it is carrying out its war against the people of Palestine and against all those who are giving any support to the Hamas leadership. So the reason why they attacked Qatar was because the Hamas leadership, some of them were living in Doha. Now, you see, the Hamas is an organization which will throw up more leaders. Such organizations do not depend only on few people,
Exactly.
because earlier they killed Ismail Hania, but now
Mhm.
there is now Haya al Khalil. Then there is Gibran. And there are so
Mhm.
many others. So Hamas will not be eliminated. Israel will continue to chase this mirage, and Netanyahu continue to fight, and as a result, he will keep his position also. So it's a very pathetic situation, a very grim situation. And the Arab countries, as you said before, should mobilize and should galvanize and
Mhm.
develop their strength and give a warning to Israel that it must stop all these inhuman activities.
So, Ambassador Ali Sahib and Naqvi Sahib, as I discussed earlier, that Qatar has very strong and extraordinary ties with United States of America, likewise other Arab countries too. What do you think at this stage if United States doesn't respond positively in favor of Qatar? And as you mentioned, also United States did not condemn this particular strike at any time in the days to come. Do you think there would be an effect on Qatari relations with Washington if Washington doesn't support Qatar and doesn't condemn this particular attack on Qatari sovereignty?
You are right, Mateen Sahab. That should happen. That is how states assert their sovereignty.
Exactly.
But Qatar is a state amongst the other Arab states which will continue to support the United States and maintain its relations with the United States because they will not be strong enough or will dare to oppose the Americans and create problems for themselves. This is very unfortunate because basically, sorry, it is the wishes of the rulers of these states who are indebted to the US and will not rise up against the US.
Ambassador Ali Saban Naqvi of Israel, in the recent weeks, there have been meeting of the Israeli cabinet which formally rejected two-nation solution of our two-state solution of this particular conflict. Not only rejecting two-state, but it has also plans to occupy the West Bank. So very, very dangerous escalation ahead after occupying Gaza. In the Gaza Valley, where Israeli forces have already penetrated into different areas, and last 48, 72 hours, some of the important areas in Gaza City have already been destroyed. So, what do you think? In the next, Israel could definitely occupy West Bank, and this Arab world will remain silent. Or will this Arab world speak out or practically take some action?
Yeah, you see, the Israeli actions are such that there is no relief for the Palestinians. In fact,
Mhm.
Israel wants to grab the territory of Gaza and also the West Bank. And they are going to eliminate the people there by genocide. And this is something that they have decided to undertake without any qualms of human conscience. They have no qualms about the killing and destruction of the common humanity of the people who are there. And they are hell bent on trying to achieve their objective of grabbing these territories. So the Arab countries have to rise up against that and have to give a warning to Israel that it must stop the actions. And they should not only do that, but in my view, not only should they take action themselves, they should also include the Western countries and approach the Western countries to condemn Israel. Like, the Western countries on their own have declared that they will be recognizing the Palestinian
Exactly.
state.
This was my next question. That do you think this recognition of Palestinian state by several European countries will have any sort of pressure on Israel that it is losing support from Europe?
Because this is a new development that
Exactly.
most European countries started with Finland and Spain, and now Britain and France and
France.
Germany are all ready to recognize the Palestinian state. So in that case, the Western countries will at least take a moral position Of course, it will not change the situation in the region, but they will take a moral position that the Israelis are wrong and the Palestinians must be supported. And this is something that in itself is a gain for the Palestinians. Plus, there are hundreds of demonstrations in Western countries, in London, in Paris, in New York, in Washington, supporting the Palestinian people. Even the other night, President Trump could not enter a restaurant. He was booed and all kinds of allegations were launched at him, and they were shouting slogans of "Free Palestine," "Free DC," and Trump is the Hitler of our time. So these kind of slogans were raised. So Trump had to leave. So, I mean, public reaction, public outrage in the Western countries is as strong as in any other area. But the world cannot accept Israeli aggression, Israeli atrocities, Israeli hostility, and Israeli aggression against the Palestinian people.
One last sentence by you. What is the future of peace in Middle East in such situation? As you said, Israeli hostility, it is rogue state, it is not respecting international law, not respecting in that backdrop. Are you hopeful and optimistic about peace in Middle East?
No, I am not. I think that there will be no peace in the Middle East till Netanyahu remains in power. You see, Netanyahu is a totally obsessive person. He has an obsession against Hamas. He has an obsession against the Palestinian people. And this kind of leader is a disgrace to his own nation and to the world. And he must be thrown out of office and he should be removed.
Exactly.
Yes. And I think then we can look forward to some change in this situation.
Thank you so much indeed, Ambassador Ali Sarwar Naqvi Sahab, Pakistan's former ambassador, who has served to many countries. And as an ambassador, he served in Middle East, particularly one of the most important country in Jordan. And currently he heads a very, very important strategic think tank, CISS, as its executive director. Thank you so much for sparing time on this critically important topic and strategically important issue that has emerged from Doha. And Doha used to be considered as one of the most safest place. Israeli escalation has now formally reached to the Middle East. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.